Commence primary ignition.
Before I begin, I want to remind everyone to hit the subscribe button below. That way you'll stay on the forefront of the best Star Wars news and reviews as soon as I make them.
Hey there, friends, fans, and collectors. Welcome to another episode of Binary Sunset News. Today we're going to be talking about 2 new Carbonized Graphite figures that are leaked, 2 new Credit Collection figures that are leaked, and another set of figures we're potentially going to be seeing later down the line in the Lucasfilm 50th.
This is the 50th anniversary of Lucasfilm, and we are celebrating with a whole line of figures that are stretching on back as far as the first film. There have been a lot of characters and stories missing from this timeline. It's great to see it expanding with the waves of new figures that are rolling out as the year progresses. And one of the newest things added to the timeline is droids. So the galaxy's most favorite droid duo here had their own animated spin-off series, which is now also located to be viewed on Disney Plus. If you have it, I would recommend it. It's a really fun spin-off animated stories. And those stories actually got some pretty exclusive figures back in the day that are very, very hard to find. And them being added to the timeline makes us think that we're going to potentially be seeing some exclusive Droids card-backed figures celebrating this pair. 3PO and R2 are always welcome addition to any collection, and these previous figures being really exclusive and hard to find, as we know, it would be great to see a reprint of some of these, even with some updated card, especially even with some updated card backs that really denote the celebration of the Lucasfilm 50th. This week, we've also received news of 2 new leaked Carbonized Graphite figures, as well as 2 new Credit Collection figures. Now, as we can remember, the Carbonized Graphite line was debuted last year, and it was a vintage collection and some Black Series line of figures that had kind of a shiny gloss to them. So now I have a Boba right here. So as you can see on Boba, he's a little shinier. He's a shinier boy than the other ones are. So an interesting build, really for collectors. The boxing was different. These code words were Armorer and Villain. And as with the previous Carbonized Graphite Vintage Collection figures, it's up to us to rumor that they are coming from Walmart. So there are no pre-order dates on these. These are leaked code names that we'll probably talk about more on upcoming live streams, but good to keep our ear to the ground for these upcoming releases of figures. The Carbonized Graphite line was started last year, and we've seen a lot of Carbonized Graphite Mandalorian figures, so it's not out of line to assume that these are also going to continue that tradition of being Mandalorian figures. Especially with one of the names being coded as the Armorer, we can assume that it's our Armorer here. The Villain code name makes me believe that it's going to be a Moff Gideon figure. A lot of people are, speculating about this, especially since that we've already seen a Carbonized Graphite Cara Dune figure, so they've been known to do it now with not just armored figures, but with also just plain clothes figures. So I bet we're going to be seeing Moff Gideon Carbonized Graphite along with the Armorer. And even though we do know the code name of the upcoming Credit Collection figure, which is also of the Armorer, we don't know its partner. But I think it's safe to assume that since we're going to be seeing another Moff Gideon sculpt, we're probably going to be seeing a Credit Collection Mandalorian Gideon sculpt. So as we can remember, the Credit Collection was also launched last year, and it is this other separate art, both deco and style of the box and figure, design of previously released 6-inch Black Series figures. So they were really to go along specifically with the Mandalorian show. We haven't seen them with any other kind of spin-off of Star Wars. And even though they're called the Credit Collection and they come with this cool little Beskar credit, and the art and design is actually from the credits of the end of each of the episodes of The Mandalorian. So, I mean, that got me, they got a kind of a dual meaning here, but as we all know, the credits of The Mandalorian have a different colored Art Deco style to them that comes from the storyboard. So we actually get figures that are stylized from the storyboard that is shown in the end of each episode. It's a really, really cool spin-off and design, especially since they use the style of the Vintage Collection boxing just hyped up to 6-inch scale. So we get the faux Kenner logo on the bottom. We get the piping around, which is also kind of worn to look like the credits. It's a really, really nice boxing. It's definitely for inbox collectors, but it does also have these really, really unique figures that are previously unreleased in terms of their paint scheme and design. Previously, both these Carbonized Graphite and Credit Collection figures have all been exclusives to Target and some other stores, but Carbonized Graphite for Walmart specifically. Hasbro has had a great business kind of sticking to these exclusives, and we should assume they're going to continue with this tradition. I think it's nice that they're filling out the collection with some missing characters from season 1, but I'm waiting on seeing some new season 2 designs for some of these figures. Give us an Ahsoka, man. I've been waiting to see a Mandalorian Ahsoka figure.
I love that we're continuing to see some more expansions into this line. The Lucasfilm 50th is a really great anniversary to celebrate. And we're getting some fantastic deep dives into some Star Wars Legend figures, which are now canon, which is great. Other big news in the Vintage Collection this week, we got leaked images of the backside of the Gendy Kardakovsky Clone Wars Walmart exclusive figures. All of those sold out very quickly. Be sure to be checking those links because they do become live every once in a while. We've recently been leaked images of the Gendy Kardakovsky card bag, and not only do we see droids on the timeline finally, but we also see that there is individual numbering for these new figures. So just as the Leia and the Paplu and the AT-ST driver were continuing on numerations for this year, so are the ARC Troopers and the other Jedi that are coming with the Clone Wars series. So that means that they are, I think the ARC Trooper is going to be 215, whereas his original figure was, I think, 54. So these are brand new design figures, and that is shown on the numeration, which is neat. That's the news for this week. Thanks for watching. As always, I've been Mike. Your likes and your views are greatly appreciated. Have a great day out there. Stay safe, stay sane, and remember, the Force will be with you, always.
I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the universe.